Part 2. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 11. Chapter 11:11. For further reading, Big Disciple Fengligs Yu. After some blood quenching and detoxification, Baifeng slowly stood up straight, pursed his lips, and said coldly, "Okay, I have already removed all the poisonous barriers in your body, so it should be fine." "Master, I..." Sensiner's cheeks were flushed, and her big cat-like eyes were dazed, as if she was still immersed in some kind of emotion. "How long do you plan to stay on the throne of this deity?" "Huh." Baifeng's eyes were cold. "Oh." Then Sensiner jumped up like a little rabbit, and stood obediently in the center of the hall with bare feet. "You can back down now." Baifeng accentuated his tone. "Yes." Senior resigns. The familiar oppressive feeling came suddenly, the girl trembled in fright, and nodded quickly. After looking at it reluctantly for a few more times, he quietly withdrew from the blood kitchen. After confirming that the girl was gone, only then did Baifeng let out a long sigh of relief. The character set almost collapsed. But in fact, he also understood in his heart. In that case, with his character, it is impossible to sit idly by the poison in Sensiner's body no matter what. Otherwise, he would be exactly the same as the bastard Bai Qingling in the game. "Okay, finally we can draw a prize." Baifeng stretched greatly, and called out the system panel. At this time, a light curtain flashed. "Congratulations to the host. Successfully spread great love. You have earned points, 1000 points. Current, 2000 points." Compared with the previous head-to-head killing, Baifeng felt quite at ease with the reward this time. This is true love without boundaries. You know, he is a supreme demon. In order to save the life of an innocent girl, he condescended to kiss her. In the previous life, how many men dared to make such a sacrifice? "Mr. System. Enter the lottery interface." Baifeng said silently in his heart. That's right, he is still thinking about the golden treasure chest that was rewarded by the novice mission. "Call out." The main interface of the system in front of him suddenly changed. Rows of treasure chests of various colors appeared in the middle of the light curtain. There is also a text description next to it. Baifeng browsed briefly. The quality of these treasure chests, from low to high, is divided into bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, colorful, and mythical, a total of 7 grades. The higher the quality of the treasure chest, the rarer the treasures will be. And the function of the points is mainly used to exchange these treasure chests. In the system mall, the current prices are as follows. Bronze chest, 100 points. Silver chest, 1000 points. Golden treasure chest, 5000 points. Platinum chest, 10,000 points. As for the diamonds and brilliance behind it, which are the top mythical treasure chests, the price column is hidden. Here is a text explanation. As the total consumption of host points increases, subsequent treasure chests will be gradually opened. The setting of this treasure box is exactly the same as in the Humming Xianli endgame. Baifeng couldn't help complaining. He couldn't help but recall that in his previous life, he spent 20,000 RMB in Krypton gold. After unlocking the Huake treasure box, he smoked 100 rounds. As a result, he pulled out a pile of garbage, and repeated it infinitely. I just hope that the way of heaven in this world is not represented by Pig and Goose Studio. Baifeng secretly prayed in his heart. Open the storage space. Draw the golden treasure chest. After some weighing, Baifeng did not plan to use the 2000 points to exchange for the silver treasure chest for the time being. Instead, use the golden treasure chest from the novice mission for nothing first, to test the waters. Ding. The golden treasure chest is being opened for you, please wait. Open successfully. The host is asked to choose one from the following 3 secret treasures. Golden Secret Treasure 1, Freely Retractable Magic Stick, Life-Type Magic Weapon, Top Grade, personally refined by the first-generation Acacia Sect Master. When used against female monks of the same realm, it is extremely powerful and has incredible magical effects. Golden Secret Treasure 2, Royal House Sutra Will Magic Technique, Life-Based Exercises, Mysterious Exercises, created by the ancestors of the first Huangzi sect, can temporarily strengthen the physical body and achieve incredible magical effects. Golden Secret Treasure 3, Mojun Peak Experience Card X1, go back in time and space, and let the host return to the state of the first life when it was at its peak. Is this a lottery with options? Looking at the 3 items on the light curtain, Bai Feng was speechless. But I had to seriously examine the 3 options. The first secret treasure. A medium-grade magic weapon from the Hehuan sect, the freely retractable stick. It's not a serious thing at first glance, so don't think about it. As for the second secret treasure. Will art. Are you sure it's not the stunt of the sage in the previous life? It's flashy, give up. Then, now there is only the third secret treasure left. I rely on it. Peak State Experience Card. Bai Feng's eyes lit up. If I can use this card to return to Bai Qingling's peak state, I'm still humming in this blood kitchen. Just go out and crush Xiao Chen to death with one finger, and kill all old enemies. Conceive the grand plan of the future. Bai Feng's eyes were shining brightly. Especially thinking of that holy and flawless Taoist priestess with a gorgeous face. He is even more blood-boiling. You know, that woman named Mu Xinlan is the only heroine in the first expansion pack who doesn't have the evil fall root and defeats the CG. In the background of the game, she is the reincarnation of the Fueyo Empress of the Upper Realm. After awakening the memory of her previous life, she resolutely broke her way to immortality and stayed in the world to cultivate 800 years of merit for the world. And in the game, if players want to attack this beautiful and flawless ancestor saint, they can only take the root of pure love. And the conditions for achieving the ending of pure love are extremely harsh. Naturally, Bai Feng was not so lucky. Theoretically speaking, from the moment I crossed, a whole new reality world opened up. And now I am Mu Xinlan's old enemy, Bai Qingling. Therefore, in this life, I must do everything possible to completely conquer this woman. In an instant, Bai Feng had a clear idea. I just feel like the road ahead is bright. I chose 3 without hesitation. Just then, he suddenly discovered something. Note, the duration of the Mojun Peak Experience card is 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I can go to Nime's place. Bumpman's transformation is not so short. The corner of Bai Feng's eyes twitched. That's all. You get what you pay for, after all, it's just a golden treasure chest. It's better to accumulate more points and buy the treasure chest later. Anyway, the points came pretty quickly. Bai Feng shook his head, comforting in his heart. At this moment, there was a crisp sound above his head. Bang dang dang. Bai Feng looked up. I saw a row of translucent orbs like the eyes of monsters, hanging in a row on the dome. It was the sneaking shadow G bead that Bai Qingling specially refined to monitor the 3 apprentices. And that scarlet stealing shadow bead that keeps shaking and making noises seems to be. Bai Feng was trying to remember. Call out. A light curtain shot out from the inside of the scarlet stealing shadow bead. Immediately afterwards, a woman in black tights, with a long sword on her back, and an extremely proud bust was projected in the center of the light curtain. Disciple Lixu, pay homage to Master. The stunning woman in the void bowed down to Bai Feng with a look of awe. Seek to read and ask for votes. The new book period is difficult, and I need the support of my brothers. Don't raise books in the past week. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 12. She is my big disciple. Feng Lixu. A real person is 10,000 times more beautiful than Li Hui in the game. Bai Feng looked at the cold-looking Yuja with slender legs. All of a sudden, countless memories came up. When playing games in his previous life, Feng Lixu was one of his favorite heroines. Whether it's Yuji's full body and appearance, or her cold outside and hot inside, even XP, they all suit his appetite. Master, are you all right? Seeing this terrifying specter that he regarded as a nightmare, he remained motionless. Feng Lixu's phoenix eyes flickered, and her thoughts fluctuated. This demon has never been in such a trance before. The righteous way has been rumored for a long time. He was exhausted by Muzinlan of Misty Cloud Palace. Now, it seems that there is a problem with his spiritual power. That is to say, this news may be true. Well, it seems that we have to find a way, send a letter to second junior sister, let her do it earlier. Think about it. This extremely talented disciple of Yuluo Temple couldn't help but raise his red lips slightly. However, the next second, a cold and terrifying voice sounded. Lixu, what are you laughing at? Huh. Master, I. Hearing this voice, Feng Lixu's heart jumped wildly, and Yuja's pretty face, which was already fair, became paler and paler. This familiar feeling of oppression. This terrifying aura. Really? He, or him? The man who can make his naturally proud self drop all self-esteem and kneel down and surrender with just one look. Feng Lixu's face turned pale, and she lost all sense of proportion. Under her skirt, those extremely slender snow-white legs were also unconsciously bent. To the end. She knelt down directly. Lixu has lost her composure. Please forgive me, Master. Lixu just now. Just thinking of happy things. With a trembling tone, she hurriedly explained. I'm afraid that the devil, who has always been moody, will activate the evil lines engraved on his abdomen again, and impose the terrifying thousands of Gus punishment. No problem. The deity is just asking, by the way, you don't need to panic. Bai Feng deliberately made his voice a little softer. If he remembers correctly, in this timeline, Feng Lixu, who is undercover in Jendao Jinwu Sword Sect, is going to the demon-suppressing tower near the sect according to his instructions, looking for a certain important secret weapon. And this secret weapon will directly affect the results of the Kangming sect and the election of the new suzerain. Judging from the timeline, although there is still some time before this main line, it is always good to plan ahead. Lixu, where are you now? After a pause, Bai Feng asked knowingly. According to Master's will, Lixu has arrived at the foot of Hai Shui Mountain where the demon-suppressing pagoda is located, and used poisonous goo to kill all the disciples who patrol the mountain on the right way, and they can go up the mountain at any time. Feng Lixu lowered her head, and said meticulously, Lixu is here, please ask Master for instructions on the next step. Well, you are indeed the disciple who has received the true inheritance of the deity, and you have done a good job. Bai Feng tried his best to keep his eyes away from the other party's turbulent and charming upper body scenery, and said calmly, the next instruction of the deity is very simple. Sneaked into the demon-suppressing tower without knowing it, and found that secret weapon for the deity. Can you do it? Bai Feng sat on the throne, his eyes were cold and oppressive. Lixu will definitely do everything possible to find the secret weapon with Master. Please be at ease, Master. Feng Lixu bit her lip and said. In this way, we can act tonight, Bai Feng said. Yes. Lixu bid farewell to Master. Feng Lixu fell to the ground again, and made a respectful salute, and then wanted to cut off the spiritual power transmission of the thief Shadow Ji bead, but heard a voice. By the way, wait a minute. Ah. Feng Lixu's heart skipped a beat. Master, do you have any orders? Do you know what day it is today? Bai Feng slowly opened his eyes, looking at the beautiful figure of a woman in the void. Yes. Fen Lixu pursed her red lips tightly, and after thinking about it for a while, she still couldn't figure it out. I'm stupid. I hope Master will show me. The years fly by. Unknowingly, you have been up the mountain with your teacher for 14 years. A sigh sounded. Fen Lixu's heart skipped a beat. She raised her head and looked at the tall man. Waiting to see his handsome and pale cheeks revealed a gentle elder-like kindness. It seems that he is a completely different person from the vicious and cold-blooded demon lord in the past. What the hell happened to him tonight? So weird. Just when Fen Lixu was throbbing and uneasy. In the shadow of the throne, a gentle male voice came slowly. After tonight, you will have entered the prime of life. Maybe no one in this world will remember this matter, but a master will never forget it no matter what. So. Auspicious birthday. Little Lixu. Wind Lixu. Ding. Congratulations to the host. Successfully passed on the Great Love. Acquired points, 3,000 points. Current balance, 5,000 points. A system notification sounded in my mind. Bai Feng did a sit-up and jumped off the throne. Although when Fen Lixu knelt down just now, he could clearly see tears flickering in the other party's eyes, but not so exaggerated. You know, it costs so much to detoxify Sensinger before, only to get 1,000 points. Moreover, with Fen Lixu's temperament, even if she is moved by him, it is only for a while, and she will soon regain her senses. It seems that we should try to interact with other heroines more in the future. Bai Feng secretly made up his mind to pay attention. In fact, the reason why he remembered Fen Lixu's birthday was just because he had a preference for this character in his previous life, so he remembered it by the way. Okay, now finally no one disturbs the cultivation. Next, I will use the training memory of my previous body, retreat for 7 days, and restore the inner alchemy to the alchemy state in one go. And then. It's a drama to crush Xiao Chen, an ant. Bai Feng settled down, took out the 9-turn soul-fixing pill that Sensinger had sent earlier, touched it with his fingertips, and the pill instantly turned into countless powders, which spontaneously sank into his 5 orifices. As meditation gradually deepens. In the dark room, blood mist rises, visions emerge one after another, powerful and terrifying energy spreads, and gradually covers the entire Yologo mountain range. The first generation of demon kings opened the path of practice for the second generation. Kangmingzong, Yinghui Palace, Magician Palace. Chick. 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 The figures danced and the swords danced in the air. Nyoda's sword dance on the ground. A group of inner sect disciples in purple robes are practicing sword art under the guidance of an elder who preaches the skills, and the momentum is like a rainbow. At the end of the crowd, a young man with a handsome appearance and a huge wide-bladed sword, his movements are slow, his face is solemn, and he is out of step with the pace of his fellow students around him. Brother Xiao, what's the matter? But what's on your mind? A younger brother asked beside him. Thank you, junior brother Chen, for your concern. I'm fine, I just feel that. Xiao Chen frowned, the right eye twitched violently today, I don't know if it's an ominous sign. Senior brother Xiao has only been promoted to a personal disciple by Master after only 10 years of entry. He is indeed extremely talented, the appearance of heaven and man, and ordinary disasters. How dare he find you? The junior brother surnamed Chen said with a resentful smile. It's hard to say, but it just feels empty inside, as if something is missing. Xiao Chen let out a long sigh. Then he remembered something, and his excited expression returned to his face. By the way, junior brother Chen. Did she receive the phoenix hairpin I asked you to give to senior sister Sen of Yulogo Dion this morning? Are you very happy? Huh. This junior brother Chen looked embarrassed, hesitant to speak. What's wrong? Xiao Chen's face darkened, and he had a vague premonition. Hey, let's not hide it, brother. The junior brother surnamed Chen lowered his head and said, I did deliver that phoenix hairpin for senior brother Xiao, but it was broken by senior sister Sen on the spot. What? Xiao Chen's eyes widened in disbelief. Although Singer came out of the blood kitchen that day with a strange look on her face, it has already passed a day. After calming down, she must be missing me deeply. How can I refuse my gift? Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. He just finished speaking. But he found that his left eye also jumped up. It's absolutely true, I dare not hide it from senior brother. The junior brother surnamed Chen said with a bitter face, senior sister Sen not only broke the phoenix hairpin, but also said. What else did she say? Xiao Chen's voice trembled. Senior sister Sen said that she hoped senior brother Xiao would stop looking for her in the future, she was afraid that her sweetheart would misunderstand her. Puff. Hearing these words, the handsome and unrestrained Yinghui Palace's eldest disciple personally turned his face into a liver-colored face, and then a cloud of blood spewed out. This moment, he was surprised to find that his left eye also jumped up. Oh shit. It's really weird. The third one is delivered today. Ask for votes and follow up. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 13. Practice has no years. In addition, he has been in the dark blood kitchen for a long time. Baifeng felt that it was just a blink of an eye, and 6 days had passed. Call. Spit out with a white line in the mouth. Open your eyes, everything you see is already a different scene. At this very moment, he can clearly see the chi machine with a radius of hundreds of miles, the strong magic energy constantly infiltrated by the earth veins, and even the rune patterns inside the surrounding magic weapons. The most important is, under his vision, an elliptical sphere like a transparent egg floats above the Danshan. Passing through the hazy sea of air, looking closely, the center of the sphere seems to conceive a small world, in which the magic rime flows and 9-colored clouds gather. This is the 9-color demon pill he produced after breaking through the foundation building stage and entering the alchemy stage. It is also in this world, the highest grade Yuan Dan that all demon cultivators dream of. With Suhui in this physical body, it's not surprising that he broke through the foundation establishment in 6 days and condensed into Yuan Dan. The only thing that I didn't expect was that it was just rebuilt according to Bai Qingling's previous path, but he actually condensed the highest level 9-color demon pill that he couldn't even achieve. If Bai Qingling in the game, when fighting against Mu Xinlan, possesses the 9-color Yuan Dan with the infinite blue bar attribute, the outcome may be unknown, right? Baifeng felt slightly emotional in his heart. Open the properties panel. Name, Baifeng, road name, Qingling. Physique, congenital formless demon species. Age, 120. Cultivation level, alchemy period, present life. Gongfa's supernatural powers, Taizhang containing breath technique, available, Heavenly Demon Transformation Dragon Sutra, not available, Blood Sea Sad Songju, not available, 9 Yi Burning Heaven Ju, not available. Auxiliary skills, Alchemy, LV89, Gudeo, LV95, Beast Control, LV60, Artifact Refining, LV90. Reminder, the full layer of any skill in the current world is level 99. Points, 5,000 points. Why? It's already in the alchemy period, but still not enough mana to drive Bai Qingling's natal magic skill Heavenly Demon Transformation Dragon Sutra, and the 2 heaven-defying supernatural powers Blood Sea and Elegy Song. Baifeng felt a little lost. Forget it, although I can't control supernatural powers now, it's still no problem to manipulate and cast some low-level magic weapons and goo techniques. That's right, the reason why Bai Qingling is terrified and feared by monks of the righteous and evil ways is not because of magical powers, but because of those sinister and ruthless immortal goo techniques that make people hard to guard against. In the game, he even crossed a big realm by virtue of goo technique, beheading the patriarch of Yuquanman's composite Dao stage. Correct. According to the time calculation, Xiao Chen will enter the blood kitchen ahead of schedule tomorrow, trying to behead my head to claim credit. And in this blood kitchen, there happens to be a goo seed that is very suitable for him. I believe it will surely kill him efficiently. It also saves me from doing it myself. Bai Feng pointed a little in the void. A spiritual thought burst out. As if attracted by some kind of attraction, a golden goo worm spontaneously flew out of a purple narrow-mouth goo bottle at the corner of the wall. The goo worm was about the size of a thumbnail, with 9 wings on its back and 8 legs on its abdomen. Its whole body curled up, motionless, as if it had entered a state of hibernation. Bai Feng put the goo worms into a black goo cup, embedded a formula, and hid it in the space of Zifu. After traveling to this moment, his heart finally stabilized for a moment. His heart is like a mirror. Now that the big villain of himself is reincarnated from the dirt, it will inevitably cause chaos in the entire world line. Therefore, only by killing the hero Xiao Chen early can the risk be minimized. In other words, girls don't have to attack. But Xiao Chen must die. On the first floor of the blood kitchen, after 2 hours of shopping, a total of 383 kinds of goo worm raw materials and 33 self-defense middle-grade magic weapons were all collected in the Purple Mansion. Bai Feng stepped into the basement again. This time, when he passed through the huge skeleton door that looked like Beijing Temple, he surprisingly lost any fear in his heart. Instead, just like visiting his own garden, he stepped in leisurely. Passed through the corridor all the way, and arrive at the 3rd basement level with ease. Look! This monster is coming in. Kill, kill, kill. Use your thoughts to curse this devil to death. Bai Qingling. We are going to be ghosts, and we will drive you to death. Hall Master Bai, I beg you to spare my little life. After all, we are fellow demons, have you forgotten? I even treated you to dinner. As Bai Feng's figure approached, noisy and harsh cursing, wailing, and begging for mercy came from around again. Only this time, there was no wave in Bai Feng's heart. Some even want to laugh. Most of the living souls trapped here are well-known masters of both good and evil in their original bodies, and their future is bright. Just because of their stupid arrogance, one by one tried to take his life and become famous in Kyushu. Ever since, they all turned into the sad appearance of human beings, ghosts, and ghosts. Bai Feng's eyes passed over the soul-detaining flag, one after another was full of angry, painful, and distorted faces, and finally fell on a handsome young man in a bun. Unlike other prisoners who were out of control and wailing. At this moment, the soul body of the young man was sitting in the soul prison in the banner with his legs crossed and his face calm. Hey, buddy, it looks like the protagonist's face at first glance. Bai Feng put his hand on his chin, thoughtful. It turned out that this young man was none other than Xiao Chen's own brother Xiao Yi. In the background story of the game, Xiao Chen was born in the eastern region of Yunzhou, under the Kunlun Mountains, a mountain village full of aura, where all the people practice Xiao Wang village. When he was 10 years old, Li Qianzhu, the left protector of the evil sect, slaughtered all the villagers in the small town, and devoured their flesh and blood in order to practice some kind of taboo magic art. Fortunately, Yu Suzi, the suzerain of the Kunlun Dao sect, arrived in time and rescued the only orphans in Xiao Wang village, the 2 brothers Xiao Chen and Xiao Yi. He brought the 2 of them back to the Taoist sect of Kunlun and accepted them as personal disciples. The 2 brothers are both of extraordinary aptitude, and within a few years, The elder brother Xiao Yi volunteered to go undercover in the demonic Dao, but was caught by Bai Qingling, who was out looking for materials, and was immediately captured and used as a test subject. And the reason why Xiao Chen agreed to go undercover in the Kangming sect was half of the reason to get a girl, and the other half was to find his brother. Bai Feng narrowed his eyes and continued to recall. Remember that in the game, after the player plays Xiao Chen, after killing Bai Qingling, if he explores here, it will trigger the branch line to save Xiao Yi. Because at that time Xiao Yi's soul body had been refined by Bai Qingling, and it was integrated with the soul-holding banner. Therefore, after Xiao Chen violently broke the soul-holding banner, Xiao Yi also disappeared. The end of the branch is. At the last moment of disappearing, Xiao Yi passed on to his younger brother some of the magic cultivation methods he had secretly learned in the soul-detaining banners these years, and thus opened his Tao heart-planting demon, the path of dual cultivation of Taoism and demons. Road. Hey, brotherhood is really touching. Bai Feng sighed lightly. There was a long silence. Eventually a difficult decision was made. Forget it. Then let's send the two brothers on the road together, and they will take care of each other. Ask for daily follow-up, reading within 24 hours is very important, ask for votes. The back of this book is wonderful. Immediately the plot unfolds, the protagonist and the heroines will have all kinds of rival scenes that they like to hear and see, and everyone will not be disappointed. In addition, there are few people now, so if you have any opinions, you can mention them in the book review area. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Zhi Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 14. Chapter 14. What level of cultivation is the same as mine? Your name is Xiao Yi, one of the two orphans in Xiaowang village in the past, and also the suzerain of the Kunlun Dao sect, the close disciple of Yugzuzi, who has cultivated in the alchemy stage, and has a Kunlun divine sword art, which is very good. The leader of the younger generation of the righteous way. Bai Feng came to stand in front of the young man. A pair of cold and sharp eyes seemed to be able to penetrate the soul of the other party. You devil, how do you know my identity? Xiao Yi's expression changed drastically, and he was no longer as calm as before. It turned out that when he stepped into the border of the demon way, when he met Bai Qingling on the road, he couldn't help but attack the latter, but he was caught instead and locked up here. From beginning to end, the two did not communicate at all. This deity not only knows your identity, but I also know that you have a younger brother named Xiao Chen who is also under Yugzuzi's family. Bai Feng said. You. Hearing this, Xiao Yi's face turned completely pale, and he gritted his teeth and said angrily, Devil! If you dare to touch a single hair of my younger brother, even if I fall into the endless purgatory and turn into a ghost of 1,000 calamities, I will definitely not let go pass you. This deity hates being threatened the most in his life. However, this deity admires you very much and is willing to give you a chance. Want to play a game? Bai Feng seriously initiated the invitation. What game? In the soul-detaining banner, the young man said with a vigilant expression. I want you to fight me head to head. If you win, I will let you go out and reunite with your younger brother. If you lose, then you will stay here until your soul and body are completely refined. Bai Feng stared at the other party with great interest. What, are you interested? Stop mocking me, devil. Xiao Yi smiled miserably. If I were really your all-in-one enemy, how would I have fallen into this situation? It's different now, Bai Feng said. Why is it different? Xiao Yi's eyelids twitched. The rumors from the outside world that this deity was burned to the ground by Mu Xinlan are true. Now I am standing in front of you, and I have just embarked on the road of recultivation, and my cultivation base is similar to yours. As Bai Feng spoke, he lifted the prime ancient breath containment technique, completely exposing his own cultivation aura. You were really hit so hard by Senior Mu. At this moment, Xiao Yi was both surprised and delighted. If the devil really fell to this point, then even if he died, there would be no complaints. The deity has already given you the confession. You can now start choosing. Bai Feng's words did not end. Only to hear the young man in the soul-detaining streamer growl angrily, "Okay. Come on. Come out and challenge one-on-one. I, Xiao Yi, will accompany you to the end. Although I don't know what kind of medicine this sinister and cunning monster sells in the gourd. But for him right now, he has no choice. The blood kitchen has 3 basement floors. In a small room surrounded by magic stones, 2 figures face each other. An invisible killing spirit filled the void. Tisk tisk, Bai Qingling, I didn't expect you to be willing to return my body and my Dao sword to me. Of course, what I didn't even expect was that your realm actually fell to the middle stage of alchemy. Ha 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 ha. Heaven has eyes. The soul returned to the physical body, and the chief disciple of Kunlun Taoist sect was extremely happy and laughed wantonly. Ahem. It's a rebuild, not a fall. Bai Feng corrected. Ham, it doesn't matter. With a relaxed expression on his face, Xiao Yi casually danced a sword flower. For a mortal man, it doesn't matter what purpose or secret he hides in him. So confident. Bai Feng glanced at the other party. Certainly. You are in the middle stage of alchemy, and so am I. Xiao Yi raised his brows coldly, and straightened his chest. I was defeated and captured because I was too far behind you in realm in the past. If you and I have the same level of cultivation, taking your life would be like killing chickens and dogs. Very well, come on. Bai Feng nodded with encouragement. One divides yin and yang, the qi rushes to the kungsu market, and the sword comes out too reckless. Xiao Yi's eyes showed a murderous look. He pointed to the sky with his left hand, moved the sword art with his right hand, stepped on the 7 stars, and muttered something. In the blink of an eye, infinite sword charm evolved around him, and where the sword pointed, an incomparably majestic sword aura instantly emerged. Seeing that terrifying river of majestic sword energy approaching more and more, the murderous aura is awe-inspiring. Instead of showing any trace of panic on Bai Feng's face, he murmured with great interest. As expected of the protagonist's early moves, the sword art is popular all over the world. The special effects and power are good, and the swing before casting the spell is also short. However, speaking of it, this set of Kunlun Divine Sword Art, performed by Xiao Yi, is far more powerful than the protagonist's Xiao Chen. It's no wonder this buddy died in the plot, otherwise, it's not certain who is the protagonist. He thought so. Next breath. Xiao Yi swung his sword. That torrent of sword energy, like a swimming dragon, swallowing a strong cold light, has already roared towards him. The time has come to test the purity of this new physical body. Bai Feng's heart trembled, and the magic brilliance appeared in his eyes. Suddenly, he had a clear insight into the veins of the sword in this torrent of sword energy. Next moment. Snapped. He stretched out a thick and pale arm, and swung a fist. This punch looked ordinary, and even above the edge of the fist, it couldn't infuse strength and true energy. However, it was the seemingly erratic punch that hit the flaw in the opponent's sword, causing him to fall into chaos. Kang kang kang. It's as if the army is defeated like a mountain. There was a shocking sound of metal collisions in the void. Bai Feng looked indifferently. In the void, the majestic and terrifying torrent of sword energy was dissipating little by little at a speed visible to the naked eye. Immediately afterwards. Boom. Only a sharp and crisp sound was heard. The Dao sword in Xiao Yi's hand was broken into several pieces. There is also a gap between monks who form alchemy. Young man, you lost. Bai Feng wore a black robe, his eyes were cold, like a god of death. No. Impossible. Now that you are only in the realm of alchemy, how can you kill my Kunlun divine sword art with your bare hands? How can you? How dare you? In an instant, the belief in swordsmanship all his life collapsed. Xiao Yi's face was ashen, and he collapsed to the ground like mud. The black-robed man in front of him is as powerful as a 9-day god and demon. Is he really invincible? Even that senior Mu who stands on the top of the righteous way, can't he be completely erased? The more Xiao Yi thought about it, the more desperate he became. Finally. Puff. With a sweetness in the throat, a mouthful of blood gushes out, drawing a long arc in the air. Devil! I lost to you, I knew I was going to die. But I'm not reconciled to losing. Xiao Yi gritted his teeth and said. Bai Feng was not in a bad mood at the moment, so he said, maybe, I can try to make you feel at ease. I'm asking you. If your punch just now deviated by an inch and didn't hit the weak point of my sword, what should you do? With your character, you will never risk your life. Isn't it? Xiao Yi clenched his silver teeth, and asked hysterically. Of course I won't. Bai Feng shook his head, and said truthfully, before I handed this body back to you, I added some delicious condiments to it. What do you mean? Hearing this, Xiao Yi felt a chill down his spine, and the figure that had managed to support himself collapsed again. It's them. Bai Feng snapped his fingers. After a crisp sound, a group of black, hideous, and terrifying arthropod insects began to emerge from the limbs of the chief disciple of the Kunlun sect, and more of them grew. In the blink of an eye, his entire body was completely covered. This is a humming goo worm. It's still the most ferocious violent bone eater. Bai Qingling. You are so despicable. Xiao Chen's face twisted, and he yelled. Your sword just now, whenever I feel a little danger, these little things will appear in advance and eat you up. In other words, today's game, no matter what, you are the loser. At the last moment, Bai Feng decided to spread great love and tell each other the truth. Soon, the cursing sound became smaller and smaller, and was gradually drowned out by the sound of the swarm eating. What grade? The same cultivation as mine. Bai Feng glanced at the young man's body, and then released a spiritual thought. Hush! The soul-detaining flag in the corner, listening to the master's call, flew over, and the sacrifice continued to rotate in the air, crushing the soul of the young man, and confining and imprisoning him again. Ah, why am I so proficient at doing this kind of thing now? Well, I have to restrain myself a bit in the future, don't really become a big devil. Bai Feng warned himself. But in all fairness, how difficult is it to survive in this immortal world where the weak are preyed upon by the strong? He is also helpless in white. Fortunately, not only did he clear up a hidden danger in advance today, but he also got acquainted with the technique of casting goo, which can be regarded as a little gain, which gave him more confidence in his future. Now that Xiao Yi is dead, it will be Xiao Chen's turn to give away his head tomorrow. Hope everything goes well. Bai Feng prayed secretly. Immediately, his eyebrows sank, and he suddenly remembered something. Etc. Now, my time travel has derailed the entire plot line. Then, when I trap and kill Xiao Chen tomorrow, his big backer in the Kangming sect won't come to rescue him, right? Thinking of this, a plump, graceful and feminine figure couldn't help but appear in Bai Feng's mind. It is Xiao Chen's master in the Kangming sect, the master of the Yinghui Palace, and the embroidered face saintess, Hua Yuerong. Kangming sect, Yinghui Hall, dormitory for senior disciples. Fellow deist, show mercy. My own. Master. Master, please say something. You know my identity. Save me. A young man with a handsome appearance suddenly sat up from the bed, staring at the void in shock. What happened to senior brother Xiao? Could it be that he had a nightmare? Chen Qiang, the younger brother and follower at the side, walked up with concern. Xiao Chen wiped his sweat quickly, and said tentatively, "Did I just talk in my sleep?" Ah Chen Chiang nodded. "What did you say? I didn't hear clearly." "Oh, it's fine then." Xiao Chen pressed his chest, pushed open the window, and instinctively looked in the direction of Yuluo Mountain. For some reason, there was a sudden cramping in my heart. It was as if a piece of flesh and blood had been gouged out by someone. This feeling is not right anymore. Today is already the 6th day, and the poison of Soul Eater in Bai Qingling's body should have spread to the extreme. Sen Xing this girl, has acted strangely in the past few days, so I can't bet everything on her. No. I have to go through this myself. The more Xiao Chen thought about it, the more uneasy he became, and immediately turned over, put the knife into its sheath, and walked towards the door. "Hey, brother, the morning class in the Magician's Palace hasn't started yet." "Where are you going?" Chen Qiang asked curiously. "Go to Tianyuan Lake at the foot of Mount Yoluo next door." The undercover agent of the gold medal, the second disciple of the Kunlun Taoist sect, with fiery eyes, squeezed out 5 words from between his teeth. "I want to eat fish." Today's second update is here. Seeking to read and ask for tickets. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Zhi Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 15. Chapter 15:15. Xing I want to sleep with my master, read more. Flower Moon Wrong. Bai Feng chewed on the name, and couldn't help recalling some memories. I have to admit that. In the main plot of the game, the Lord of the Yinghui Palace who is on an equal footing with him is indeed an attractive woman. She is Xiao Chen's master in Kangming sect, and also the latter's biggest protection in the early stage. Moreover, the male protagonist Xiao Chen received most of the novice tasks in the early stage from her. It's just a pity that most of the heroines Xiao Chen met in the early stage, and even some NPCs, can establish a relationship line. But Hua Yuerong couldn't. She is more like a background board, in line with the progress of the main plot. Her life is rarely mentioned in the game, and she and Xiao Chen do not have any emotional branches. This obviously does not conform to the logic of Little Butter. It even disappointed countless LSP players who were yelling at Jockey Miyazu. Although in the game, Hua Yuerong's character image is always covered with a veil, and the whole picture cannot be seen clearly. But that plump and attractive figure full of charm makes people's blood boil. Coupled with the character design of the black-bellied Yuja, its attractiveness is no less than that of the 3 sisters of Yuluodian. At the beginning, in order to achieve the full collection of pure love items, I went to clear the level for 2 weeks. This time, I accidentally collected an item called Withering Epiphyllum in Hua Yuerong's bedroom. About that prop, there is only one sentence below to introduce love him, hate him, and never change until death. Could it be that the Lord of the Yinghui Palace really has a hidden relationship line, but the other party is not the male protagonist Xiao Chen? Then, who is this beautiful woman who is so deep in the city, who is so powerful, and who never forgets? Bai Feng murmured in his heart. "Master, can Xing come in?" At this moment, a girl's murmur sounded through the sound transmission talisman. "Sen Xing Bai Feng's heart shuddered, and immediately, he opened a stealing shadowji. "Call out." A light curtain shot out, reflecting the scene in front of the gate of the blood kitchen. I saw the night sky outside, thunderous, windy and rainy. In the cold wind and rain, a 15 or 16-year-old girl stood alone at the door, her body shivering. At this moment, her thin dress and the white eye silk on her legs were soaked by the rain, and her snow-white and flawless skin was almost completely transparent, as if she was naked. It's not right. According to the plot, she should come here at noon tomorrow, and Xiao Chen will arrive at the blood kitchen early in the morning. Could it be that this girl has betrayed her again? Bai Feng couldn't help feeling vigilant. Outside the door of the blood kitchen, the girl stood in the rain with a desolate expression. Her delicate face was completely wet, the rain slid down her long eyelashes, and she looked very pitiful. At this time, a gentle voice came. "Senior, come in." Hear this voice. The melancholy on Senior's face was swept away, and he rushed in 3 steps at a time. She came to the blood kitchen hall, ran all the way through 3 corridors, dozens of trapdoors, and finally saw the figure she was thinking about. At this moment, that tall and burly figure was facing away from her, looking at the void, as if he had something on his mind. "Owner," she called out tentatively. "What's the purpose of coming to the deity? Tell me," Bai Feng said lightly. Senior is just a little worried about the master, so, come and take a look." Senior said truthfully. "The 7 days have come. Are you afraid that this deity will be plotted against by that boy Xiao Chen?" Bai Feng asked. "No, that's not the case." Under the powerful gaze of the other party, Senior took a deep breath. Senior naturally knows that the master's methods are superb, and Xiao Chen is just an ant in front of you. How can he hurt you? You don't have to lie to me." Bai Feng smiled, and said, "You tell me the truth. Are you guessing from the bottom of your heart that this lord has been severely injured by that Muzinlan and has become a useless person, right?" In front of this pair of eyes that seemed to be able to penetrate the soul, the girl quickly knelt down on the ground and sobbed, "Senior knows it's wrong. Senior shouldn't speculate on the master's mind. But please believe it, master. Senior came here, just I want to protect my master." As she spoke, tears rolled down her long eyelashes. With such a lovely and pitiful appearance, Bai Feng couldn't help but want to hold him in his arms, bully him well, and cherish him. "Okay, the deity naturally believes in your intentions." Bai Feng's tone was subconsciously gentle, "but you have to understand that the reason why I asked you to release false news to Xiao Chen is to catch a turtle tomorrow. After the deity executes Xiao Chen in the blood kitchen, and then declares that he has sneaked into the blood kitchen to murder the deity, at that time, his master Hua Yuerong wants to stand up for him, and there is nothing he can do." After listening to these words, the expression on Senior's face gradually changed from worry to ecstasy, and finally to deep admiration. The master is worthy of being the master. It turns out that in the heart of the master, there is already a perfect plan to capture and kill Xiao Chen. Senior is so happy. I feel so lucky. Being able to serve such a powerful and perfect you. The girl covered her flushed face, her beautiful eyes sparkled, as if reflecting the stars. During the conversation, only then did she remember something, and she took off her drenched outer shirt, revealing 2 delicate white arms, and the imperial beast bell around her neck. Master once told her, when the 2 meet in private, the bell that symbolizes the status of master and servant must be revealed at any time. Actually, if the master is willing, it is also willing to show everything about Senior. Senior fantasized about something in her mind. Stretched out her snow-white hand, fiddled with the bell deliberately. Not only that, she looked at the longing phantom on the throne, and stuck out her tongue flatteringly. "I'll go, there's something wrong with this girl." Seeing the girl's expression, Bai Feng also felt a little hot. In the dark secret room, the 2 stared at each other. The atmosphere became somewhat delicate. "Okay, if there is nothing else, you can go back." Bai Feng flicked his sleeves lightly, and assumed the indifferent attitude of the demon lord. Tomorrow is a great day to get rid of Xiao Chen, he doesn't want to cause trouble. However, the girl kneeling on the ground just shook her head with a gloomy face and didn't reply. "The deity told you to go back, didn't you hear?" "Huh." Bai Feng deliberately emphasized his tone. Sure enough, hearing the sullen meaning of these words, the girl shivered suddenly, then turned her head to look in the direction of the door, and said timidly, "Master, there is thunder outside." Bai Feng was taken aback. Then, I suddenly remembered that in the background story of the game, the night when Sensinger's parents were killed by bandits was exactly the scene of lightning and thunder. Since then, thunderstorms have become the biggest fear in this girl's heart. In the game, whether you can successfully capture this girl also depends on whether you can perfectly grasp the plot of the thunderstorm. Then what do you think? Baifeng glanced at the girl in front of him. If possible, Singer implores the master, don't drive Singer away tonight, not only because Singer wants to witness the execution of that villain Xiao Chen together, but also because Singer covered her flushed face, and exhaled with a bulging face. Half an hour. She seemed to muster up the greatest courage in her life, clenched her fists tightly, closed her beautiful eyes, and said loudly. Because Singer wants to sleep with Master. Baifeng. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 16. Chapter 16:16. Spread love. Just want to rub. Seek to follow up. Looking at Sensinger's beautiful red face, and her nervous little hands behind her back. Baifeng even felt that in the next second, this girl would shyly take out a love letter and shout, Master. I declare you. His scalp tingling. Could it be because of my previous operation that her character design completely collapsed? It doesn't matter, the big event of suppressing and killing Xiao Chen is imminent, and we must not make extra trouble. After suppressing a certain throbbing in my heart, Baifeng raised his eyebrows, and shouted in a serious tone, presumptuous. What I didn't expect was to hear this violent drinking. The girl in front of her didn't move at all. From her pair of bright eyes, big teardrops flowed out. Owner. Singer is really afraid of a thunderstorm night. I just hope that the master can allow Singer to stay here for a night. After dawn, Singer will leave immediately. I promise not to disturb the master. Finished. She didn't know where the courage came from, so she went straight up and plunged into the arms of that tall and burly shadow. Ah, this. She is getting worse and worse. Feeling the warm fragrance of soft jade unique to young girls in the blooming season in his bosom, Baifeng couldn't help but feel his heart tremble. Immediately, he recovered his expression of facial paralysis, and said coldly. Humph, what are you afraid of, and what has it to do with this deity? This deity established the door regulations in the early years, and no one is allowed to stay in this blood kitchen forbidden area except this deity. If you make an exception and keep you here, what is the prestige of me, the lord of Yuluo Palace? And quick retreat. Every word, with monstrous magical power, rang in the girl's ears. Sensinger's pupils dilated, her face turned pale, and she finally woke up. She hastily stepped back 2 steps, knelt down and said. Singer was rude and offended. Please master, calm down. Humph, the same thing, if you let the deity say it a second time, you should know the consequences. After finishing speaking expressionlessly, Baifeng hurried away. Singer knows. Singer will never dare again next time. Facing the phantom that was drifting away, the girl kept apologizing. In the end, the whole person collapsed to the ground, and her beautiful eyes were out of focus, as if her soul had been taken away. Knew it? Master is still that unfeeling and righteous domineering demon. He only has the great cause of longevity in his heart, so what do I care about? No. Wrong. Because of this, I have to work harder to cultivate, strengthen myself, and become a useful tool for Master. One day, because of Singer's dedication, the Master will look at me warmly again, even reward me once again beyond the limit. Most definitely. Recalling the situation when I was gently touched by the Master before. Singer's face became flushed again, full of thoughts. Rumble. A deafening thunder sounded, interrupting her thoughts. At the same time, that nightmarish night automatically comes to mind. The bandits grinned horribly. Parents crying and begging for mercy. A barren hill full of corpses. Don't come here. Master, Senior is so scared. Memories invaded, emotions collapsed to the extreme, the girl burst into tears, and she couldn't care less about anything, crying loudly. As her sobbing became weaker and weaker, the sound of thunder became more dull and terrifying. She felt like she was being swallowed by the boundless darkness. A moment close to suffocation. She finally realized something. Never again. That man will never again fall from the sky and stand in front of her like that night. Perhaps, as the second senior sister said, from the beginning to the end, she was just a part of the master's longevity plan. Just a sacrifice. Although she is now willing, but do not know how. There is still a colic in my heart. In the end, under constant self-comfort, the girl lost her soul and pushed open the door of the blood kitchen. In the outside world, the wind is howling and thunderstorms are pouring down. It's like hell. The girl dared not move at all. At this time, from the depths of the blood kitchen, a cold voice came. Stay. Hearing this voice, the girl's gloomy eyes instantly lit up. Next moment, as if answering the call of the gods, her little face blushed with happiness, she took off her wet coat, and with her bare feet, she ran towards the source of the sound recklessly. The blood kitchen is on the third floor of the basement, in the underground palace of the bedroom. Ding! Congratulations to the host, spreading great love successfully. You have earned points, 2,500 points. Current remaining points, 7,500 points. The system's reminder light curtain appeared in his mind. But Bai Feng didn't have any joy to speak of. Hey, if this goes on like this, sooner or later this demon venerable persona will collapse. If it spreads out, it will even arouse the vigilance of those old enemies in the sect. Family, who knows? I'm such a hot boy. Bai Feng sighed inwardly. Look back. The scene in front of him immediately made his head feel hot. I saw that my little apprentice had already removed the jade hairpin, and her wet long hair hung down on her snow-white and thin shoulders, giving her a sense of charm beyond her age. What's more terrible? She didn't know when she had taken off her outer shirt, leaving only thin underwear. Slender white arms and long legs suddenly appeared. Only the imperial beast bell on the neck was still worn, and it made a crisp sound of jingle jingle. The master and apprentice looked at each other silently. A tall and burly big devil, and a delicate and pitiful ancient girl. A strong visual contrast is formed. At this moment, Bai Feng suddenly realized that this girl's stature was just enough to reach her own abdominal muscles. That is, as long as he reached out his hands and held her little head, he could easily. Pooh! It's such a humming time, what am I still thinking about? In 2 more hours, Xiao Chen will come to deliver the head, there is no room for any surprises. Bai Feng used the immemorial restraining breath technique to quickly calm down his mood. Then, he took off his black fur cloak and threw it over. Put on. Ah! Senior was taken aback for a moment, and then said happily with a small face, yes. Thank you for the gift, master. However, she was about to put on the cloak, but out of some strange psychology, she stopped. What? Dislike the clothes of the deity? Bai Feng raised his eyebrows. No, no. Perhaps because she felt her cheeks were too hot, the girl covered her small face and said in a mosquito-like voice. Master, if you feel sleepy, shouldn't everyone be wearing no clothes? Bai Feng, Sigma, oh. Oh. The sleeping hall is small. There is only one cold jade bed made of ancient spiritual jade. After defeating Bai Qingling in the game, players can come here to rest and recover their energy. Lying on the surface of the cold jade, Baifeng felt that the fascia all over his body was permeable and smooth, and the magic blood in his body quickly traveled through the 8 extraordinary meridians, forming an indescribable circulation. Not bad. Isn't this more comfortable than the waterbed in the previous Life Hotel? At this moment, Baifeng once again realized a fact. This place is already a real world. Everything is real and tangible. Under the extreme relaxation of his body, Baifeng temporarily released the pressure accumulated in his heart since the time travel. Owner. At this time, a weak girlish voice came from behind. It is still thundering outside, and Singer is afraid. Baifeng suddenly remembered that there was still a little apprentice sleeping beside him. Baifeng closed his eyes and pretended to sleep, and ignored him. However, the next moment, what he never expected was a pair of weak and boneless slender hands protruded from behind, wrapping around his waist. There's something wrong with this girl. Could it be that she pretended to obey, but actually wanted to assassinate me close? Surrounded by the girl, a thought flashed in Baifeng's mind. It's not that he's overly sensitive. You must know that Bai Qingling in the original book escaped countless murders and proved the demon lord precisely by virtue of his suspicious and cautious character. What's more, his current situation is even worse. With low mana, everyone is enemy. It's the real world with no rollbacks again. One wrong step, send it directly. After thinking for a while, Baifeng let the girl hug her tightly, and said indifferently, "You're causing trouble, you know that." "Master, I..." Under the uncontrollable impulse of the heart, Sen Singer put her bright red face close to Master's generous back, summoned up her courage and said, "Singer." Singer's hands and feet are very cold. Therefore, just rub it for a while, and absolutely never go any further. Baifeng. 6. Dawn breaks. Boundless mist enveloped the Yaloo mountain range. Amidst the endless fog, a vigorous figure descended from the sky and landed on the mountainside. It seems that the girl Sen Singer has not arrived yet. After all, I was one step ahead. Bai Qingling. I'm riding a horse. Today. It's your death day. It's also the day when I, Xiao Chen, became famous. Today's chapter was actually posted in the afternoon, because the background was stuck for review, so I revised it a bit. Brothers, please read and ask for votes. Thanks to the rudder master of the So Handsome Boss. Thanks to Yanjun Ruyu and Piao San for the 2000 coin reward. Thanks to Zakanes, Shenyu and Lishuan, Yebo Chang'ank and 602-6313 for their rewards. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 17. Chapter 17. It's a nightmare, and it's also cinnabar in the heart. It's already time. According to the timeline in the game, Xiao Chen has arrived at the gate of Mount Yaloo at this moment. Because he is carrying the jade talisman of passage given by Tantai Lingian, he can travel unimpeded all the way, and after half an hour, he will be able to reach the door of the Blood Kitchen. The most important thing is that during this trip, Xiao Chen is also carrying a big killer gifted by Yugzuzi, the old man, specially to deal with me. We have to take precautions before they happen. Baifeng lay on the cold jade bed, closed his eyes and meditated. Soon, a plan emerged. Call. At this time, there was a soft breathing sound in my ear. It was only then that Baifeng remembered that there was a petite and exquisite ancient girl hanging on her body. Hey, isn't this girl sleeping too deeply? Baifeng turned his head and looked behind him. I saw that Sen Singer's body was still tightly attached to her, and under the slightly upturned, beautiful skirt, a white and delicate jade leg was already draped around her waist. Isn't she too pushy? I brought her up single-handedly, a domineering and ruthless demon. No, We can't let her go on like this. Sudden changes in character settings will only expose me quickly and allow foreign enemies to take advantage of me. Baifeng gritted his teeth in his heart, and was about to give a cold drink to wake him up. But the next moment, his eyes were fixed. The girl's beautiful eyes were tightly closed, and on the red and beautiful face, there was a small ruddy and delicate cherry mouth, which was slightly pouted, revealing the thumb-wide gap between the lips, as if longing for something. It looks cute and tasty. Well, this girl is really cute. When I was playing games in my previous life, I neglected her. Baifeng was amazed. He was not a philanthropic man after all. In the game, Sen Xinger has a cute and delicate character design, and Li Hui is also pretty enough, but she is very meow. Who would be a decent person to YY to a little girl in pure white silk? Therefore, when he played Xian Lian, he focused all his attention on the interaction with the other heroines, and skipped all the branch lines of this girl with control. Reject juvenile aesthetics, start with you and him. Baifeng just quietly looked at the sleeping girl. It is as if appreciating an art scroll and temporarily forgetting the time. Occurrences of error. He moved closer to Sen Xinger's charming apple-like face. Getting closer. Getting closer. Until the cheek felt the warm breath of the little apprentice. Baifeng felt his heart beating a little faster. He doesn't know what he wants to do. But just want to get closer, closer, until I'm fully integrated with her. Master. At this moment, the girl's eyelashes moved slightly, and she murmured dreamily. Second senior sister, you lied to me. No way. Master, he is definitely not such a person. The girl said in a daze. In the tightly closed eyes, there were actually crystal clear teardrops oozing out. She had a sad face, and she didn't know what she dreamed of again, sobbing. Xinger really likes you, Master. It would be great if Master Shizun also liked Xinger. Watching this scene, Baifeng felt a little blocked. Countless memories of the past flooded into my mind. Although she calls her master on her lips, deep in her heart, I will always be the original stalwart and warm master. Instantly, Baifeng could no longer restrain the pity in his heart. He took off the wide magic robe on his body, covering the girl's thin body. After a moment of hesitation, finally couldn't help it, leaned forward, and kissed the little apprentice deeply on the lips. Soft and tender, indescribable. The first kiss in this life, achieved. With the deepening of the deer. Out of a strange habit, he stretched out his broad, thick, muscular arms, and slowly supported Sen Xinger's slender waist. Just at this moment. Ding! Congratulations to the host. Successfully spreading great love. You get a reward, points add 1,500 points. Currently 9,000 points. You have received an additional reward, God level massage, life-based skill, in a non-combat stance, used on the target, there is a certain chance to make it produce the illusion of bliss. What the hell? Baifeng's brain hurts from the sound of this notification. Instantly woke up. Also almost at the same time. Sen Xinger in front of her also opened her eyes with a look of horror. Master. No, no. Master. It was the first time that I faced this cold and handsome face that I had been thinking about day and night. Sen Xinger's face turned red instantly, and she covered her eyes with her hands, unable to speak a word. Tomorrow has come. The rain outside has also stopped. Baifeng quickly backed away, and instantly regained his indifferent posture of the demon lord. It's time for you to carry out your mission. Xinger's mission. Sen Xinger was stunned for a while, completely clueless. At this moment, in her mind, the scene in her dream is still playing back. In that incomparably real dream, she dreamed of second senior sister, and this longing for man in front of me. Even at the end, The other party also held up his face, forgetting his feelings. Thinking of this, Sensiner's cheeks flushed, and she pursed her lips subconsciously. If only it were true. She sighed softly, lowered her head, not daring to look directly at the tall and stalwart man in front of her. Listen, Senior. Bai Feng regained his awe-inspiring expression. At this moment, Xiao Chen has already arrived outside the Yaluo Palace, and I want you to personally lead him to the Blood Kitchen, and then the deity will give him a little shock. Do you understand? Yes. Senior complies. Although she didn't understand what she meant, Senior didn't dare to be negligent, and bent down to accept the order. However, the moment he turned his back, she was surprised to find that she was wearing Master's black golden heavenly robe. Is there a possibility? All kinds of things just now are not dreams. Thinking of this, Senior's heart was pounding. Can't help but peek at the longing god next to him. I saw the other party's expression murmured, his eyes were far-reaching, and he seemed to be pondering something. What are you snickering about? Huh? Lord Tianchen spoke coldly. Reporting to Master. Senior. Senior just thought of something happy, degree. The girl's brows and eyes were curved, and she answered unambiguously. Bai Feng. Kangming sect, Nei sect, Black Moon Hall, and the forbidden area behind the mountain. On the cliff shrouded in morning mist. A beautiful woman in white, who looks like a fairy in the painting, is sitting in a mountain pavilion playing the piano. The sound of the piano is dazzling, sometimes high and sometimes low, like weeping and complaining, as if there is endless sadness. Lingyan, today is the 7th day, and the poison of Kanja Soul Eater on the big devil's body has been developed to the extreme. Don't you want to witness his miserable end? In the past few days, when I think of this majestic guy, his hideous, ugly, bloody death, I am so happy that I can't sleep. A cheerful female voice sounded. Immediately afterwards, a beautiful woman with blue hair and blue eyes, wearing a crimson hall master's robe, walked slowly with a pair of long legs. The sound of the piano stopped suddenly. Tantai Lingyan glanced back coldly. Hong I hope you understand one thing. He is a cruel, ruthless, heinous big devil, it's true. But at the same time, he is also a master who has nurtured me. Even in the end, I won't allow anyone to criticize him, especially you, my best sister. Okay, my sister Lingyan, is it okay if the hall master is wrong? Hear the displeasure in the other person's tone. In the eyes of outsiders, the domineering and ruthless hall master of Heio, the next heir to the sect master, Yehong actually smiled flatteringly, walked up, and took his best friend's arm. So, are you going to see off this master? She asked cautiously. No need. Tantai Lingyan looked at the churning sea of clouds. Stars are enough. The few sincerity in his life were given to Senior. My second disciple, in his eyes. What's the point? When it came to the end, in this sect, the goddess protector who was admired by countless young talents had tears in her eyes. Master, do you know? Since I first met you when I was 8 years old, Lingyan has made up her mind that she will never admire others again in this life. You are a nightmare, but you are also, Cinnabar in your heart. Thanks to the boss of money. Mensin was moved to tears. Keep reading. Ask for a ticket. In addition, the background of the second chapter has been reviewed, not sure if it will be released today. Maybe I have to wait for tomorrow morning to review and go to work. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 18. Morning Mist. A handsome young man, stepping on a flying sword and holding a jade talisman, flew straight over the sky above many palaces in Yaluo Hall. Well, Tantai Lingyan's passing jade talisman is really easy to use. None of the guarding disciples and deacons of Yuluo Hall along the way questioned me. It seems that gods will let me achieve this great success. The more Xiao Chen thought about it, the more excited he became, and he couldn't help speeding up Yujian. For a moment, it landed on a platform on the back mountainside of the Yuluo mountain range. This is the entrance of the Blood Kitchen where Bai Qingling, the master of Yuluo Temple and the Big Devil, practiced in seclusion. Looking at the ghostly bronze gate engraved with terrifying magic patterns in front of him, Xiao Chen only felt that his legs were filled with lead, and it was difficult to move forward an inch. Demon Dao has been undercover for 10 years. Taste all kinds of sourness and bitterness. He thought he had already made sufficient preparations for this day. However, at this moment, when he was really standing here, only one step away from that peerless devil, my heart is still dominated by great fear. At the same time, in my mind, Tantai Lingian's words sounded again. Even if you practice for another 10,000 years, do you have the courage to draw your sword against him? No. I, Xiao Chen, have been protected by the Dao of Heaven since I was a child. In the future, I am destined to win the Kyushu and capture all the beauties in the world. Now that Bai Qingling, the poison in his body exploded, even if he is not completely dead, he must be half dead and has no magic power. This can be seen from the fact that I have not been suppressed by any restrictions when I stepped here. Therefore, I just need to go in with a white blade and out with a red sword, and kill the devil with one stroke, and I will be able to forge an incomparable merit, and I will be respected by hundreds of millions of monks in the two ways of righteousness and evil. Take a step back. Even if Bai Qingling has enough strength, I still have the secret magic weapon given by Master. Why should I be afraid? Inner self guided a lot. Xiao Chen took a step forward, and there was no hindrance on his face. Senior brother Xiao. Just then, a familiar female voice came from behind. With a move in his heart, he turned around. He saw a beautiful girl in a light pink skirt trotting towards him. She is graceful and agile, like a butterfly fairy among flowers. Junior sister Xing'er. Xiao Chen was taken aback for a moment. Then, there was a burst of ecstasy in my heart. Although he was born with fraternity, he has admired countless fairies and witches in his life. But the girl in front of him was the first object of his crush after going undercover. But in the last few days, the other party suddenly became indifferent to him, which undoubtedly became a thorn in his heart. Now, seeing the other party calling him senior brother Xiao affectionately again, how could he not be happy? No, she has been indifferent to me for a long time, I can't give her a good face immediately. Xiao Chen's heart shuddered, and he was about to put on an indifferent face. However, the next moment, when I saw the girl's soft and pleasant smiling face, he still couldn't help but took the initiative to greet me. Hey, junior sister Xing'er, you are willing to talk to me, senior brother Xiao, recently because you don't think about eating and drinking. After hearing this, Sen Xing'er was taken aback for a moment, then a trace of disgust flashed across his eyes, he lowered his head and said, Brother Xiao may have misunderstood. It's because Xing'er has been outside the Blood Kitchen in the past few days, secretly observing the situation of the devil, so he neglected senior brother Xiao. Hey, actually, Xing'er is worried, senior brother Xiao hastily came to look for me, and the devil still has enough energy, so it's going to be a big deal. Her big eyes are flickering, with a sincere look. I see. It turns out that junior sister Xing'er is worried about me. I should have known. I should have known. Ha 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 ha. Xiao Chen smiled openly. In an instant, I just felt that the stagnation in my heart for the past few days was swept away. This girl is indeed destined to be her prey. His Xiao Chen's seductive charm is still unrivaled. This is not his arrogance. From childhood to adulthood, he seemed to be secretly manipulated and favored by his father Tiandao. No matter what he did, especially when it came to flirting with girls, he was always invincible, just like God's help. Properly chosen stallion. Oh no, son of chosen. Okay, junior sister seeing since that's the case, we don't need to worry about anything when the 7 days come. Why don't you come in with me? Let's be husband and wife. No, we are brothers and sisters, we will kill the devil together and become famous in 9 continents. As Xiao Chen spoke sincerely, he stretched out his hand naturally, and pulled it towards the girl's arm. But I didn't expect it. Just like last time, the other party seemed to be vigilant against him all the time, almost dodging aside in advance. Senior, here you are. What are you? Who do you think senior brother Xiao is? Xiao Chen gritted his teeth, already a little annoyed. Thinking that he has been undercover in Kangmingzong for 10 years, in order to attack the 3 sisters of Yaluo Temple, he has run countless legs in private, and has been a licking dog for such a long time. So far, they have never even touched their hands. In the past, he could still understand. Now, Bai Qingling's life is hanging by a thread, and he can no longer control them. So, what is she afraid of? Are you still afraid to express your love for yourself generously? Just when he was on the verge of an emotional outburst. The next moment, the girl lowered her head and said in a choked voice. Senior brother Xiao, Senior knows what you want. But the haze that the devil brought to Senior is too great. For a while, Senior can hardly get rid of it. Looking at the girl's weak and pitiful eyes, Xiao Chen softened his heart again. After all, the other party is his future Taoist partner, and he swears to be the first demon girl under the strategy. How can you bear to blame her? Hey, it's okay. Senior, you only need to know one thing. 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, as long as it is you. Senior brother Xiao, I am willing to wait. He spoke affectionately, took out the sword from the purple mansion, and looked at the door of the blood kitchen with sharp eyes. Let's go. Senior. Brother Xiao will personally take you to kill the devil today, and cut off the haze in your heart. Okay. Sen Senior nodded, her eyes glowed with starlight, her rosy mouth slightly raised. I listen to senior brother Xiao. Xiao Chen couldn't help being dumbfounded again. Wow. She is so cute. By the way, she appeared here so early, could it be that she spent the night at the blood kitchen last night, just to greet me in the first place? Thinking of this, Xiao Chen felt comfortable again. The fighting spirit is ignited again in my heart. Bai Qingling must die. Inside the blood kitchen, the first floor. A pair of teenagers and girls walked through the dark corridor. Junior sister Senior, is it not right for us to go? Xiao Chen gripped the long sword tightly, with a look of guard. At this moment, he could clearly sense that the secret weapon given to him by Master Yu Suza was being suppressed by an unknown force. Although the power is not too strong, but if it goes on like this, if there is an accident, this secret weapon may not be able to exert 100% of its power. No way. Junior sister Senior. We can't go any further. This way is wrong. As you said, Bai Qingling has been staying on the 3rd basement floor. Let's go back to the lobby and choose another corridor to go down. Xiao Chen gritted his teeth. Why not? Sen Senior turned her head and looked at it with an innocent face. Senior has served that devil for so many years, and the terrain in this blood kitchen has already been familiarized by heart, so there is absolutely no mistake. This is the only passage leading to the 3rd underground floor. Could it be that? Speaking of this, her cat-like eyes gradually dimmed, and her expression lost. Senior brother Xiao, don't you trust Senior at all? No, no. Xiao Chen quickly shook his head, then gritted his teeth and said, Senior, don't be sad, senior brother Xiao. Just listen to you. The two continued to move forward, and finally came to a stone room that was sealed in all directions and was about 10 feet deep. Xiao Chen looked around. I saw that the walls of the stone chamber were engraved with some kind of strange magic circle, and at the four corners of the southeast, northwest, stood a hideous black dragon statue. Wrong. I've seen this thing in Huayuerong's study Kangming Yubeo Tuzi before. Seems to be. In an instant, Xiao Chen finally remembered something. However, it's too late. Boom. There was a loud bang. Behind him, the stone door carved with intricate magic patterns smashed down. The two were trapped in the stone room forcibly. At this time, a creepy man's voice came. Nephew Xiao, it's our first time meeting, it's a pleasure to meet you. Hear this voice. Xiao Chen only felt a chill coming out of his vest, and it invaded his whole body in an instant. Fear. He felt the fear that went deep into his soul. Next moment, under his terrified, liver and gallbladder torn gaze, a huge black shadow looms over. Immediately afterwards, da-da-da, footsteps sounded. A tall and burly man in a black robe, tall and burly like a sky tower, a handsome and evil man slowly walked from the shadows. Bai Qingling. You are not dead? As the phantom approached, the unprecedented sense of terror and oppression made Xiao Chen's knees go weak, and the long sword in his hand fell to the ground. Xiao Chen. You shameless villain. You have been sowing discord between our seniors and the master. Today is your death day. Sen Singer on the side changed her soft and pleasant attitude just now, and said with wide-eyed almond eyes. Junior sister Singer, you. Only then did Xiao Chen realize something, and couldn't help but look at the girl next to him. Sen Singer stuck out her tongue mockingly, humph. Idiot. Don't you understand? All of this is just the master's task. You call him master? Star you. Looking at the girl I have always admired in my heart, she actually flatteringly called a devil her master. Like being struck by lightning, Xiao Chen took a few steps back. However, the next second, the scene that made him collapse even more appeared. Singer, come here. The big devil in front of him waved at the girl casually. That kind of posture is like calling a puppy. Immediately afterwards, that pure and innocent girl who he regarded as a fairy in the sky, her cheeks flushed, she rushed towards the phantom in 3 steps at a time. Flutter. He plunged into the arms of the devil. At the same time, the devil also stretched out his big pale and thick hand, caressing the girl's small face. And the junior sister Singer that I have been thinking about, not only did not resist, but like a kitten, she rubbed her face with enjoyment, sticking closer. This. Singer. I, Xiao Chen, have been trying to please you all these years. I just wanted to touch your hand, and you resisted so much. And what he's touching now is yours. No. At this moment, the self-proclaimed son of destiny, a true disciple of the Kunlun Taoist sect who was born with pride, knelt down on his knees, his heart completely collapsed. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 19. Chapter 1919. She is a junior sister. Dead memories suddenly attack me. Looking at the two masters and apprentices in front of them, they looked like glue. Xiao Chen was so angry that he even felt like a funny clown. Flutter. A sweetness in the throat. A mouthful of blood spurted out again. Until now, he finally understood everything. The devil in front of him didn't take that Kanja Soul Eater powder at all. This girl Sen Singer has been lying to herself from the very beginning. Moreover, his appearance here today is also a trap set by this devil. Why? Singer. Why did you betray us? The devil has humiliated you so contemptuously all these years. Why are you still obsessed with him and are so devoted to him? Looking at the girl who was having fun in the arms of the big devil, Xiao Chen's eyes were bloodshot and hysterical. He finally knew why his eyelids twitched so much during this period of time. Green. He, Xiao Chen, is green. Betrayal? He. From the beginning to the end, the master has treated me with sincerity, so naturally I will swear allegiance to him and give everything for him. Sensing pressed tightly against the strong chest of the master, looking back at the young man, her tender and beautiful eyes suddenly became a little cold. And you, Xiao Chen, you deliberately provoke our seniors and sisters to murder the master. I can't wait to skin you. You can't live, you can't die. Star you. Xiao Chen was intimidated by this look, and shivered. Bai Feng, who remained silent the whole time, was also shocked in his heart. This was the first time he saw Sensing a soft and cute girl, showing such a fierce look. This character set change is too fast. However, I don't know why. At this moment, holding Sensing in his arms, he looked down at the man of destiny in front of him with a victorious posture. It gave him a strange sense of pleasure. Etc. Have I assumed a strange role? In order to prevent yellow hair from growing on his head, Bai Feng cleared his throat and was about to speak to end everything. Unexpectedly, Xiao Chen in front of him was the first to attack. Good, very good. You woman is simply willing to degenerate. Don't worry about it. Next, I don't need to show mercy. Dogs and men, let's die together. Xiao Chen gritted his teeth, the energy and blood in his body surged wildly, and the endless hatred turned into terrifying true power, filling it out, sweeping the void. Humph, Bai Qingling. Even if you didn't take that Conja Soul Devourer, you were exhausted by that senior Mu, it must be true. Forget it, I've kept a low profile for 10 years. It's time for you to experience the true strength of me, the great disciple of the Kunlun Yingui Temple. Say it. With his left hand he pinches sword formulas, with his right hand he dances with swords and flowers, and he steps on the 7 stars, chanting words in his mouth. In an instant, a powerful and terrifying sword rhyme condensed from the whole body, and a torrent of mighty and unparalleled sword energy was derived from the edge of the sword. What a powerful sword pressure! Master, be careful. Sensing reacted in an instant, and immediately made a tactic with one hand, and sacrificed his natal spiritual weapon Ghost Stab. Yes. Deep in her heart, there is still a small conjecture hidden. If the master was really injured by the ancestral Saintess Muzinlin. She thought so in her heart. The power of the evil spirit is intensifying, and it is about to fly out. However, he was stopped by a pair of pale hands. Back off. What do you think of the deity? Huh. It's just an ant, the deity suppresses it with a flick of a finger. Bai Feng narrowed his eyes, his expression indifferent. Tisk tisk, this trick again. It really is a trick that is eaten all over the world. When I was playing games in my previous life, I felt that this trick was powerful and practical, and I could defeat any foreign enemy with a single blow. It was simply the #1 magical skill in the early stage. But now, in the eyes of him who turned into a demon lord. Like a chicken and a dog. Boom. Thoughts arise. The torrent of sword energy, following the point of Xiao Chen's sword, swept towards it like an angry dragon. Bai Feng held his breath and concentrated, the magic light flashed in his eyes. At this time, the distribution of Xiao Chen's sword power and sword rhyme are clearly and nuancedly presented in his magic pupils. It can be said that it is true at a glance. Chi chi chi. The sword light surged. Between electric light and flint. That unparalleled sharp sword edge, mixed with destructive sword pressure, has already rushed into his face. This is the moment. With one hand behind Bai Feng's back, The other suddenly sticks out. Boom. There was only a clang and crisp sound. The strong and heavy sword pressure disappeared together with the sword light. As if it never existed. My God. Master him. Under Sensinger's astonished gaze. His master looked indifferent, and raised two slender and pale fingers. And it was these two fingers that pinched the tip of Xiao Chen's sword with unparalleled precision, making it impossible for him to move forward. You devil! The Yinghui sword art I used is invincible in the world. How could it be taken by you with bare hands? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. At this moment, the son of destiny, who was born rebellious and had never been frustrated in his life, even didn't care about revealing his identity, shouted hysterically. Nothing is impossible. For a real strong man, the body is the strongest weapon, so why use swords? Bai Feng looked scornful and flicked his fingers slightly. Crack. There was a crisp cracking sound. Xiao Chen was like a lost soul puppet, watching helplessly. Before leaving, the Taoist sword Yalong personally made for him by Master Yugzuza was forcibly broken into two pieces. Master, he hasn't been burnt to the ground by that wicked woman Mu Xinlan. Came back. The peerless demon lord who dominates the cultivation world of Yunzhou and everyone fears, he is back. At this time. On the other side, Sensinger had tears in her eyes and almost jumped up. Until this moment, she finally let go of her hanging heart. Okay, the sideshow is over. Bai Feng glanced indifferently at the stunned young man. Now, quickly use your secret weapon, 12-rank demon subduing golden lotus. How do you know this thing? After hearing this, Xiao Chen's eyes widened, and the hairs all over his body stood on end. He suddenly had a terrible feeling. From the moment I entered the Yalou Palace, and then came to the Blood Kitchen, I used the Kunlun Excalibur art. Everything is in the calculations of this big devil. Forget it, don't care too much. At this moment, only Master and his old man can protect me. Xiao Chen gritted his teeth, clapped his hands together, and recited the formula to open up the purple mansion. Call out. In the blink of an eye, bright and holy golden radiance oozes from his palm. The devil. You asked for this. Disappear completely. Xiantian Beiki, only for me to use, to suppress and kill all evil spirits. The 12-rank demon subduing golden lotus start. It's like saying what you say. In the void, Dao rhymes intertwine, and 9-color divine light suddenly appears. In an instant, a golden lotus spirit treasure that is sacred and sacred, appeared out of thin air, standing in the air. Finally the king exploded. Bai Qingling's heart shuddered, and she snapped her fingers. Boom boom boom. A dull sound came out. In the stone chamber, the demonic black dragon statue standing in the four directions of the southeast, northwest, as if responding to some kind of call, turned all at once, facing the 9-color golden lotus in the sky, blooming a destructive black robbery light. The four kalpas of light are intertwined, condensing into a terrifying torrent of world destruction. Laugh. Just for a moment. All is at peace. The 9-color golden lotus disappeared into the void as if swallowed by some unknown dark force. Seeing this scene, Xiao Chen was completely dumbfounded. An intense fear that he had never felt before lingered in his heart. At this moment, he had a terrible premonition. With the support of destiny, no matter what dangers he encounters, he can turn danger into safety, this time. I'm afraid I'm going to die here. The devil. I regret that I should have overestimated my strength and provoked this ancient and unparalleled monster. Mu Xinlan. You vain bitch. What is it about this devil that looks like he has no magic power? I'm so humming with you. Under extreme desperation, Xiao Chen cursed in his heart, swearing constantly. Nephew Xiao, next, we should also settle it. Bai Feng couldn't wait to approach the protagonist in the game. At this moment, he could clearly feel it. The devil blood in my body is burning. Yes. As long as the ant is crushed to death, at least survive the plot of the first expansion, there will be no problem. Sensinger was also holding a magic thorn, and followed behind her master step by step. If possible, she would also like to stab to death with her own hands, this villain who sowed discord and almost made her commit the crime of killing her teacher. Am I going to die here today? I am a strong and lucky person, and I have never touched a woman's hand. I will conquer Muzinlan in the future and ride her on my crotch. I'm not reconciled. Facing the approach of the master and apprentice, Xiao Chen retreated step by step, his eyes filled with extreme despair. Hall Master be merciful. At the moment when everything was silent, a cold and stern female voice sounded. Immediately afterwards, haha. The bone-piercing evil power enveloped the entire stone chamber. A plump and feminine figure in a fiery red phoenix-patterned dress tore through the void and flew out. I saw that the woman was wearing a round bun full of wifely taste, and her face was covered with a veil that isolated her consciousness, only revealing a pair of soul-stirring peach blossom eyes. However, it was these charming eyes that were unique in the world. Between the four eyes facing each other, Bai Feng's brain suddenly stirred, and countless pictures appeared. The dead memories, at this moment, suddenly launched a fierce attack on him. His long-sealed evil heart even began to ache. Suddenly, he recalled everything. It turned out to be my only beloved junior sister. 60 chapters. Remember this number. Xiao Chen must die within 60 chapters, because at this stage he will be used to draw out the next main line. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Zhi Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 20. Chapter 2020. Brother and sister meet each other. Tears of Huayuerong, 2-in-1 for further reading. Long-lost memories revived. Countless vivid pictures were reflected in Bai Feng's mind. The woman in front of her is Xiao Chen's master in Kangming sect, Huayuerong. In fact, she still has an identity. That was Bai Qingling's junior sister, Rong when she was studying under the evil medicine master's school. In the background story of the game, after Bai Qingling murdered his master, he cursed and killed hundreds of his fellow disciples in order to conceal his master, leaving only one junior sister in the end. The name of this little junior sister was not mentioned in the main story line. And now it seems. After the little junior sister survived, she practiced hard and kept her name incognito. She joined the Kangming sect and became the current master of the Yinghui Palace, Huayuerong, who is on an equal footing with Bai Qingling. Her purpose is obvious, and that is, revenge. And this dark thread was not uncovered until the finale of the first expansion. I see. Let Huayuerong remember her whole life, the man who engraved love him, hate him, and never change until death on the prop with ring epiphyllum, turned out to be me. Looking at the sad peach blossom eyes of the woman in front of him, Bai Feng's heart set off a stormy sea. However, I don't know why. Even if Bai Qingling's memory is completely integrated, the bits and pieces of his past relationship with his junior sister Rong are not complete. As for why later, when Bai Qingling slaughtered the master's school, why did the younger junior sister survive? This memory seems to have been deliberately deleted. I can't recall it at all. After Bai Qingling killed his teacher, his temperament turned black, and he no longer trusts anyone in the world. He felt that emotion is the greatest weakness of human beings, so he transformed himself into a ruthless ogre cultivator. Could it be that he used some means to extract this memory and bury it somewhere? A bold idea appeared in Bai Feng's mind. But at this moment, he had no time to think about it. In the short moment of looking at Huayuerong, time and space seemed to freeze, become extremely long. At the same time, he was also enduring, deep in his heart, That inexplicable pain. The pain made him almost suffocate. Baifeng quickly turned his head to one side, and said indifferently, "Tisk, it turned out that the sage with embroidered face drove here in person. This blood chef is really radiant. It seems to be affected by some kind of memory." Hua Yuerong also stared at the man on the throne for a long time. Then, he cleared his throat and said solemnly, "Master Bai, my disciple Xiao Chen accidentally broke into your Qingzhou cave mansion. As a master, I will apologize to you on his behalf, and I still hope you." She didn't finish her sentence. But he heard the high and mighty great demon coldly interrupted. "Where is the blood kitchen of the holy ant? How can you come and leave as soon as you say? What does Palace Master Bai mean?" Hua Yuerong frowned slightly. "The deity's meaning is very simple. People can take it away. But it must not be alive." Baifeng said every word, cold and ruthless, not allowing the slightest mediation. He is very clear. From the perspective of the player in the previous life, Xiao Chen did not leave any clues at all when he was undercover in Kangmingzong, and he also used several cunning tricks to kill the righteous monk who was against the Yingui temple and gained Hua Yuerong's trust. Therefore, even if he exposed this person's identity in front of Hua Yuerong at this moment, the latter would definitely not believe him. And on the other hand, if you really get involved with this former little junior sister, with her current cultivation at the alchemy stage, even if she is fighting at home in a blood kitchen full of traps, she can't be her opponent at the transformation stage. Because of this, he had to maintain Bai Qingling's personality and completely bluff him. "Master Bai, you should know that Xiao Chen is my true disciple and the face of my Yingui palace in the future, and you insist on his life. This seat can be regarded as a..." Hua Yuerong raised her brows upside down, and her tone was extremely cold. "Are you declaring war on my Yingui temple? Master Huadian, you are so rude to my master." Sen Xinger on the side didn't allow anyone to challenge the master, so he rushed up immediately. Hua Yuerong was slightly taken aback. A pair of soft peach blossom eyes fixed her eyes on the petite and thin beautiful girl, and couldn't help blurting out, "What did you call him?" "Master is my master. And it is my duty to defend the master to the death and dedicate everything to the master." Facing the mighty lord of Yingui Palace, Sen Xinger was not afraid. Her beautiful eyes were wide open, and she had a vicious look on her face. "Owner." Chewing the word over and over again, Hua Yuerong's eyes became even more angry. "Presumptuous. The teacher is talking, how can you allow the junior to interrupt? When I met your master, you didn't know where you were." Hua Yuerong scolded coldly. Her plump breasts stood out proudly, her pair of beautiful legs stood together, standing straight, showing her tall and slender figure, looking down at the petite girl. At this moment, the two beauties are confronting each other. One is charming and mature, plump and graceful, the other is youthful, beautiful and cute. A very stark contrast was formed, full of visual impact. Baifeng quickly withdrew his thoughts, and said coldly, "Holy Ant, you and I have been doing things for the sect together these years. Although we seldom interact with each other, you should have heard about the deity's behavior." "Certainly." Hua Yuerong moved her eyes away from the girl, and looked at the phantom again, which had been engraved in her heart forever. "Master Bai, my apprentice trespassed on your cave. Naturally, he was at fault first. I will bring him to the Kangming General Altar, and hand him over to the elders of the Law Enforcement Palace." "Punishment? What do you think? I'm afraid it's not enough." Baifeng shook his head indifferently. Bai Qingling is cautious by nature, always act preemptively, and never put himself in danger. How could he easily let go of a scourge that had evil intentions for him? With his style of doing things, at least he must make the other party pay a high enough price. "Then what do you mean?" Hua Yuerong took a deep breath, and her eyes gradually turned cold. The meaning of that look is also obvious. She has secured the life of her eldest disciple. Bai Feng weighed it in his heart, and said with a half smile but not a smile. Now that the election of the next suzerain is approaching, the sect is under currents and people's minds are changing. At this juncture, it is indeed inappropriate for us to fight among the four main palace masters. Therefore, for the sake of the ancestor, I can save Marshal Nephew Xiao, but I want him to keep a hand, and a promise from you, Master Huadian. You. Hearing this, Hua Yuerong's delicate body trembled, and after a moment of hesitation, she looked at the eldest disciple beside her. Master! Master, don't be afraid of him. Xiao Chen, who had been frightened for a long time, finally came back to his senses at this moment, and shouted, the rumors outside must be true. This devil has already been beaten into a cripple by the ancestral Saintess Muzinlin. He is no more than it's just putting on airs. Speaking of this, he spat out a mouthful of blood, and pointed at the phantom on the throne. This guy, at most, only has 20–30% of his mana left. Even if he can suppress me, he is absolutely impossible to be your match, Master. Master! At this moment, it is the best time for you to kill this person and become famous in the Eastern Earth Demon Deo. Just because you can't lose it, you can't lose it again. He was hysterical, blood and tears were gushing, and he tried his best to look sincere and believable. He knows it. As long as this powerful lord of the Yingui Temple is called to kill people with a knife, his 10-year undercover career can be regarded as a complete success. However, what he never expected was, next moment, choke. A sharp piercing sound came out. A cold light flashed before his eyes. That powerful and domineering red-clothed woman has drawn her sword. It's just that her sword is aimed at. Laugh. A cloud of blood sprayed out. Under Xiao Chen's astonished gaze. His right arm was completely cut off by the fierce sword energy, and he flew out of his body. Boom. It slammed firmly on the obsidian floor of Blood Kitchen. Master respects you. Xiao Chen opened his mouth, wanting to say something. Then, the huge pain distorted his facial features, and he could hardly make a sound. Is Palace Master Bai satisfied now? Hua Yuerong put her sword back into its sheath, and looked coldly at the man on the throne. Then, what promise do you want me to make? Damn, Destiny's son, if you say cut it, you can cut it. Junior sister, you are such a dick. Bai Feng was also a little surprised by the sudden change. After a second, resuming the high cold demon venerable style again, he said indifferently, as for the promise I want, there is no rush. Before the suzerain election meeting in a month's time, the deity will inform the Holy Lady. I just hope that the Holy Lady will not break her promise when the time comes. Oh, as long as Palace Master Bai is happy. If you hadn't lifted the Blood Chef's restriction, with Xiao Chen's ability, how would he be able to enter here? I only hope that Palace Master Bai will not force others to make things difficult for him then. Hua Yuerong said coldly. I heard what the ant means, that the Lord of Yuluo Palace, the dignified figure, deliberately set up a trap to embarrass a servant. Bai Feng said in a sullen tone. What is the reason? I am afraid that only Palace Master Bai knows it in his heart. As for that so-called promise, this seat can only guarantee that it will be fulfilled as much as possible at that time. After Hua Yuerong finished speaking coldly, she took one last look at the man on the throne. Then, from the wide red sleeves, a white and tender jade hand protruded, like a chicken cub, lifted the collar of the eldest disciple, and walked away. The moment she left the door of the Blood Kitchen, a clear male voice came from next to my ear. Junior sister, the never-fading euphilim at the foot of Nine Yi Mountain, senior brother will never forget it in this lifetime. The voice was as warm and magnetic as in memory. As if through time, touched her heartstrings again. Ah, he. Hua Yuerong's body shook, and the resentment on her face was swept away. Those soft and affectionate peach blossom eyes widened in astonishment. Tears welled up in her eyes, blurring her vision. Ding! Congratulations to the host. Successfully passed on the Great Love. Target, Hua Yuerong. You get bonus points, 1000 points. Current balance, 10,000 points. Inside the Blood Kitchen dark hall. Baifeng leaned back on the throne with a big lala, feeling extremely comfortable in his heart. Finally, the catastrophe of the stage has been completely overcome. Although the protagonist Xiao Chen was lucky enough to not be crushed to death in one go, but after all, he laid the groundwork for conquering Hua Yuerong, the former junior sister. Yes, he is very confident about it. The moment he passed the sound transmission, he could clearly see the expression on Hua Yuerong's face. That kind of resentful, infatuated, love-hate eyes can't fool anyone. Master, are you laughing? The little apprentice Sensing at the side spoke weakly. Well, Master remembered something happy. Baifeng is not in a bad mood at the moment, thinking of how this girl stood up and challenged Hua Yuerong just now for her own sake. She was even more moved. Singer, come to Master. I will reward you well today. For the first time, Baifeng smiled in front of the girl. Huh. Singer widened her beautiful eyes, staring at the void in disbelief. After a while, after looking at the other party as usual, he waved at himself. An intoxicating blush quickly appeared on the girl's cheeks. It rushed over like flying. Brothers, rest assured. After reading the outline, Xiao Chen will not live past 60 chapters, remember this number.